Good morning, everybody. Monday morning and the start of a brand new week. It is the 10th of March. We're going to let Leigh-Ann do the walk of shame when she eventually gets here. She has this habit now of sending producer James her live location so that we can see how far away she is. It means she doesn't have to say, I'm going to be late or I'm going to be early or might be on time. We can guess. We can actually see the little car on the map. It's great. Technology. It's for things like this. This is what technology will do for us. All right. I hope you had a good weekend, and I hope you had some fun this weekend, enjoying the last little bits of summer, because before you know it, it's going to be autumn. You can already see the signs of that, and I'm not wishing it away. Trust me. Also, lots of things going on. Hey, plenty to talk about today and every other day. It just feels like I had to make a speech last night at an event, and I said to the people there, you realize that whole thing that we saw last year, that weird election in America, the attempted assassination of a presidential candidate, that feels like ancient history. And it wasn't even that long ago. It was a couple of months. It's less than a year ago. It feels like yesterday in some ways, and in other ways it feels like it's 1,000 years ago. So I don't know. I've lost the ability to track time. And then, of course, our president is still stumbling around going, I don't understand. What happened in Johannesburg? It's such a mess. This guy. I mean, he really just does not have any idea how ordinary people in South Africa manage. I don't think he cares. I mean, if he did, he would be doing something about it, right? But he's surprised. He's genuinely surprised. You almost wonder, when he's in his blue light brigade and they're driving him around, if he still drives around, who knows where, what do you think the president is going to do today, for example? So we only know what he's doing when we see him on live TV, right? Or that night, the news. Otherwise, you don't know what he's doing. He could, for all we know, Cyril sleeps until 11. He probably sleeps until 11. He probably walks around his garden a little bit, takes one or two calls, tries to find his iPad. I don't know what he's doing. I don't even know where he is half the time. Where does he spend all his time? Is he in Pretoria in the presidential residence? I don't know. Maybe his house is nicer, so he prefers not to stay there. It's very hard to tell what this guy's doing. And now he comes to Joburg and he says, it's really, we've got the G20 coming. It's always when some foreign guests are coming that he worries about how the house looks. It's like those husbands and wives who they do nothing in the house. They don't look after the place at all. It's all falling down. It's a mess. Clothes are lying in piles all over the place. Walls are cracked. There are hand marks on the paint everywhere. The carpets are filthy. And then, when there are guests coming, we've got a lunch this weekend and Aunt Mabel's coming. We better tidy up. And suddenly the house looks like 95% better for Aunt Mabel's visit. That's kind of how he is. And he's doing this tour of Gauteng, and he ends up in Joburg, and he's like, wow, this place looks terrible. What happened here? I don't understand. What has happened in the last 20 years while I've been in power? Or in the previous government where I was also the deputy president. What happened? It's like he doesn't understand. It's completely confounding to him. He's like, no, I didn't leave it like that the last time I checked. Makes you wonder, where does he go? How does he not know this? Joburg's the most important city in the country. Okay? Don't get uppity, Cape Town. You're not. You're just not. You're very pretty in Cape Town, but you're not the most important city in South Africa. Joburg is. And Joburg, the CBD, I mean, there's that road. Remember that road that exploded? One of those streets downtown Joburg. It's like a scene out of Lord of the Rings. Still, to this day, you can't. The road hasn't been fixed. Gaping wound in the earth. It's just crazy. And then there are these people who invade these buildings, right? They live in these buildings that they're not habitable. I mean, I know these things, and I'm not in politics. I'm not the mayor of Joburg. And I haven't even been to the CBD for what? I probably was last there last year sometime. But how can the president of the country not know this about the main city of his country? That would be like if they demolished the Empire State Building and Donald Trump, like in 5 years after that, was like, oh, I thought there was a building there. I remember it being a great big, very strong, very tall building, very, very tremendously tall, but it's gone now. That would be what it would be like. No idea. Anyway, you got to admire the guy. I mean, either he's genuinely shocked, in which case he's just totally not paying attention, or he's just like, oh, God, I've got to come up with something. I'll just lie and say I'm horrified at the state of Joburg. So we've got a couple of things on the agenda this morning, which I'm excited about. We'll be talking to Dr. Hanan again. It's always good to have him on, and he missed last week because he was traveling. But he's back today to help us get our heads right. And if you hear a funny noise, it's because the air conditioner sometimes decides to make a noise and sometimes not. Right, James? So that's what James and Flex told me this morning when I came in. They're like, the aircon might make some noise. It might not. It just depends. So I'm sitting here in trepidation, wondering if you can hear me or not. I want to start with this. I didn't know that someone's head, so forehead, could be like 2/3 of their head. Do you know what I'm talking about, James? The clip I sent you this morning, there's this guy, he's a comedian. No, it's a comedian. And he's got like it's a 10 head. It's not a forehead. You know, forehead's 4 fingers, right? So most people are about 4, sometimes 5, but this guy's like 10. Like a 10 head. Yeah, you hear the aircon? Isn't that exciting? So while that's making that big noise, take a look at this guy. And at least, you know, he's used his apparent disability, his apparent difference, as a source of entertainment for us, which I appreciate enormously. And I always like a bit of a freak show. You know that. I've always been a fan of a freak show. So here he is. Check this guy out.
I know you guys are all looking at me. You see my face. It's a little different. You're probably thinking, what happened, right? That's what everybody asks me when they first meet me. What happened to your face? Let's talk about it. We're here, right? A couple years ago, I got the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I don't know what y'all's symptoms were, but this was my Fauci ouchie. This is what we're dealing with here. No, I'm kidding. I don't know if the government's listening, so I want to say that was a joke. I was actually born this way. It's a genetic thing. I was born to 2 great parents. My mother is a spicy Latina. My father was Sloth from the Goonies. So, yeah, nepotism, right? That's why I'm here. No, actually, I was born with something called Cruzon syndrome. Not a lot of people know what Cruzons is, myself included. Like when people ask me, like, what is Cruzons? I tell them it's the brand of tequila my mom drank while she was pregnant with me. Yeah. Because I'm not a doctor, nor am I a bartender, but that's not true. My mother actually did not drink during the pregnancy. As far as I know, she didn't have her first drink until after she saw what I look like. Right there in the delivery room, they have an open bar.
I love it. All right, so there he is. And I don't know what his name is, but he has what he calls Cruzon syndrome, which is not the stuff that you put in soup. Those are croutons. Yeah, it's different. Crouton. And if you're not allowed to take him and drown him in the soup, even though his mother probably tried. So apparently Cruzon syndrome is a genetic syndrome in which the seams of the skull fuse abnormally. Well, he looks fucking abnormal. It affects the shape of the head and face, the most common type of syndromic craniosynostosis. Gene mutations are responsible for the abnormal skull fusions. It's got like a forehead like that.
Yeah.
How's it, ass?
Hi.
How's it?
I made it.
Did you have a nice time this morning on the roads of Joburg?
Yeah. Well, it actually helps when you find someone in a smart car, like a nice black BMW who knows what he's doing.
You just follow him.
Just follow him.
Yeah, but I always laugh when I try to picture you coming here in the mornings because you've made it sound like it's...
No, it's horrid. I mean, I have to squeeze through little gaps.
I saw a Bajaj yesterday.
Oh, yes.
And this fucking Bajaj, you know, if you drive a car like that,
They're
like,
hazardous. Okay.
yeah, I mean, like Simpiwe she had a tantrum the other day about how people in cheap cars need to just remember that they're not racing cars. They're not there to go in the fast lane.
Skorokoro.
Not, yeah, but she was saying like not even skorokoros, but like cheap little, like, you know, the whatever's the
1100s.
entry level car, right? Those people mustn't go in the fast lane or try to rev their engine or go for like take off from the stop street or the robot fast. You just calm down. Like no one's looking for you guys to make a noise, all right? And a Bajaj, I mean, last night this Bajaj, there's a road with a turning left, turning right. He's on the right-hand side. I'm going to turn right. Doesn't this fucking Bajaj like suddenly changes his mind? No, I'm going to go left. Then crosses the middle lane, and now he wants to be in the left hand. But he's he's basically on a bicycle with a like a lawnmower engine, and he's going to now. Other cars are coming, and the ones who have brains knew they had to be in the left-hand lane so they could go left, or they'd be in the middle one so they could go straight. But this fucking idiot in his Bajaj is in the right-hand lane, and he's trying to now go left. And in a Bajaj, I mean, he's going to be flattened like a pancake if he's the cheek, the nerve of this man. And it does make a sound like a.
It does have a little bit of a
moped almost. Remember a moped?
It's
right?
Like it's just like a child's toy.
Horrible. What a stupid thing. Embarrassing car. It's not even. Is it a car or is it a?
I don't know.
It's not a car. It's this wide.
Yeah.
It's this wide. There are people whose asses are wider than that. A lot.
I haven't seen anyone getting in or out of one.
No, if you have an ass.
Does it have back doors?
I don't know. I've never inspected one up close. It's quite a mystery.
The engine's in the boot.
Really?
But when I say the boot, I mean it's like where the battery of a camera goes.
Like your cell phone battery.
Yeah.
Remember when we used to have separate batteries for our phones?
Remember we had separate cameras for our lives.
Yeah. Well, you had to carry a lot of shit around now. Now you don't have to. All right. So that's a fun way to start our morning with a guy with a disability. That's always fun. And there's plenty more where that came from. Here's a chick. And again, like a Bajaj driver who's just completely outside of their box. There are these two women that they made a YouTube video about, like, they were reviewing Beauty and the Beast. And Emma Watson plays Belle. Emma Watson from Harry Potter. She's a bit of a feminist, pain in the ass, but she's pretty. You can't tell me that you look at Emma Watson and you're like, oh, what a troll.
She's not like over the top gorgeous.
I think she's
proper gorge.
Guys, would you rate her out of 10?
No,
Go.
she's beautiful.
What would you say? James, Flex, 11.
11.
Flex 7. Okay, so Flex says 7. James says 11. I'd say she's a solid 10. She's very pretty. Okay,
I'd say 8.
Not sexy, but pretty. And if she wasn't such a whiny feminist, I'd be like 12. Okay, but anyway, look at how the women who say she's not so pretty look.
Oh, you see.
Oh my God.
This is the thing now.
What do you own a mirror?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Emma Watson. Just play this to show these harpies, these monsters from hell.
Watson was beautiful enough to be Belle.
Look at her.
Watson was beautiful.
She could marry the first guy.
Enough to be Belle.
They zoom in on her. You see?
No, they're doing this a lot. This is a trend now. In fact, I almost brought it, but I knew that you would not take her seriously because she's fat.
What?
She's like she's enormous.
You're going to bring her here?
No. I was going to bring a video.
Oh.
But she's a very fat American.
I mean, the sofa's taken. We had a fat person in here the other day. We can handle it.
I was wondering why it was. No, I'm kidding. So she just lives her life, doesn't talk about being beautiful or anything. And all of her commenters are who say, I wish the world would just swallow you up, wish you'd fall through the ground, through your fat asshole. And then she highlights these people and brings them up, and she's just like, because they're big, fat, old men.
Yeah. The internet has given a lot of people vast quantities of delusion. I know that there are certain things, like this weekend, I don't know if anybody else was paying any attention to X, but like someone, Mighty Jamie, who's been, he's been on my podcast before and all the rest of it. He commented something about like, blacks should do X and Y and Z. And I'm like, how about a little humility? And you stop talking on behalf of blacks. Like, no, I don't know when the meeting of blacks was that elected Mighty Jamie to like tell them what to do. Imagine me saying like, whites should really X, Y, Z, whatever it is.
Yeah,
imagine
whites wouldn't like that.
When did we have the meeting of whites where the whites were like, yeah, Gareth, we're going to give you the mandate and you decide what whites must do. Like,
but we do that with men and women.
And I don't. I've never spoken on behalf of anyone. I speak for me. I'm not going to talk for. And people are like, they've got this false sense of importance because of the internet. Like you get 500 likes on something, and suddenly what? You think you're Socrates.
The power of it is even more than the power that you have when you're safely in your car and you're pulling zaps at everyone. And it's even more than that because you're actually lying in bed like a sloth.
So I get this. Whoever this fat girl was, I'm on her side.
Oh, then I'll bring her next time.
Yeah, I like the sound of her because she's taking these people who have this false sense of self-importance, and she's actually reducing them back to where they should be, which is to shut up and mind their own business. Yeah. You know those two who said that Emma Watson was ugly. Like who asked you? Get into your cave or under your bridge that you came out of, where you live, and stop bothering the rest of us.
They're digging into that actress too, who was on Stranger Things. Guys, what's her name again?
Millie Bobby Brown.
Millie Brown, because she's grown up now. Some children are really beautiful in some way.
Is she not so pretty anymore?
Well, she's changed a lot. Also, she
was bald. Guys, find us a
then.
picture of Millie Bobby Brown then and now.
Millie Brown. And the media have gone on this whole thing, but like proper print media or,
No, the old media.
The old media. And said, oh, gosh, she hasn't aged well.
Jesus, what a cheek. And she must be, what, like 20?
Yeah, and she put out a video just saying, guys, I've grown up under so much scrutiny. Just let me become an adult.
Have you had anyone walk up to you? Because this happened to me once.
She called them out individually.
Yeah, good. She should. I had someone say to me the other day, yes, hey, I used to listen to you long ago, but you're old now. I was like,
yeah, so are you.
Yeah, what did you think was going to happen?
Did you think I was going to become?
What, were you raised like a veal? I mean, like, who did people put a mask on you and beat you that you didn't know how the normal process of time worked? And then I don't know whether they're trying to be rude because they think that's interesting because maybe they associate me with saying what I think and they think that's rude. So that's how they've got to engage with me.
Yes.
I'm like, doesn't bother me what you think of how I look. Really doesn't. I'm the most disappointed in how I look, way more than you. And I have to deal with this, right? I have to deal with this every day. So you can't upset me.
Remember I said to you once, isn't it depressing how every time we look in the mirror, it's the best we're going to ever look?
I hate it. That's so horrible. Anyway, I got to get back to gym this week because I was sick last week. I mean, you remember I was sitting here sniffing and carrying on. And I started hating myself. There she goes. No, go back. She looks fantastic. What are they talking about? I mean, on the left, she looks like a boy.
Yeah,
right?
You're not allowed to grow beyond 10.
I mean, what kind of sick fucking pedophiles?
3 journalists she called out.
Who are these pedophiles who want everyone to stay 14?
They compared her to, in Little Britain, the bald guy who wears a blonde wig at times. Oh, Vicky Pollard. They compared her to Vicky Pollard.
She looks. I mean, that could be the best picture of her. I don't know.
It is a better one.
I'm kind of impressed with that.
But the way
I haven't seen Millie Bobby Brown for ages. She looks fantastic. When they say you're old, they mean get plastic surgery. Yeah, that's another thing. Hey, I think some people have gone totally over the top with plastic surgery. I saw someone the other day I haven't seen in a while, and let's just put it this way.
In real life.
Yeah, she's had a whole lot of work done. And she was never unattractive. She didn't need to do anything. Something about aging gracefully, like having a couple of lines here. And I would think it's very weird. It would freak me out if someone didn't age at all and didn't have any expression, didn't have any lines on their face, and didn't start to look different every decade of their life. Be weird. Freaky, creepy, bizarre.
And I see now a lot of women in their late 20s are getting major plastic surgery because they're being told now that that's when you should do it because that'll it's preventative.
Have you watched Ricky Gervais's Afterlife?
Yes.
There's that one woman he interviews with enormous tits and her face is completely expressionless.
Oh, yes.
And she sits there and she goes, yeah, well, they messed up my face, so I can't really move it. I only just started getting my expression back today. Stopped feeling numb. And she goes, and then my tits. She goes, they're rock hard. She hits them like this. She goes, they're enormous, right? They're like out to here. She's wearing this brown stretchy dress. And she goes, and that's just me face and tits. You should see me minge. She goes, they made a right mess of me minge. He goes, well, what happened? She goes, oh, it looks like a dog's breakfast. Like, no, why would you do this? Why? Anyway.
Oh, gosh.
You have a fun weekend?
Yeah, I did. What did I do? I worked a bit, bumped into PJ Powers at Spa. I rescued a dog.
Jesus, I mean, that's exciting. PJ Powers and rescued a dog.
Killed a whole colony, murdered a whole colony of ants.
I love that you brought up ants. Marabuntu. What is that fucking thing again? Because Marabantu, whatever.
I don't know.
So I've got, everyone's got ants at the moment because they're everywhere, right?
Okay, so it's not just me.
No, it's not just you. So I bought those ant traps.
Oh, this is exactly what I did this weekend.
All right. So you see, this is what excites old fuckers like us.
Did you read the pack?
I read it. I put it in a place.
What happens?
Yes. So what they do is they get into the. Tell me, you know something different?
No, it's so depressing.
Go on.
Okay, so I've realized now worker ants.
Yeah.
In my kitchen.
Yeah, but don't feel sorry for them.
No, but I did because. So you put out these traps that are like yum yum.
Just don't. They'll come and eat you and kill you and take you away in your sleep.
The tipping point for me was I had folded towels on top of my tumble dryer.
Okay.
And these ants had made a nest in there.
Oh my God.
And when I tipped it out, I thought I saw these ants and they were super fast and very, very black. And I'd never seen ones like that before.
What, like matte black, like those cars?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I opened up the towel and these things came out. I shook the towel and there were these little larvae.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they were all just hatching.
Had to kill them.
So I was like, no, I'm getting a trap because I've just left them before. It's like, fine, they're taking food to their families. The sprays don't work. They come back. You can see when the sand actually comes out of the ground. So I got 2 of those ant traps. And while I was reading it, so those are the worker ants you normally see who all go in a line. And they're quite tardy, actually, for worker ants, if you see the other ones. But they're the ones who go out, get the food. They carry that food back to the nest to feed the queen and all the other ants who are busy doing shit.
Yeah.
Fucking and I don't know.
The non-worker ants, the ants on welfare.
Yeah.
Ants who are
who are super fast.
The welfare
and
ants, the fucking lazy ants. And then the worker ants have to go out and do the heavy lifting, literally.
Lazy ants.
Yeah. Fucking socialism, that's what that is.
So now they've gone into this little thing which has some syrup in it and it's highly toxic even to humans. And then they die off. And then the other ants come and pick them up to take them home as food. And they kill the whole colony.
Yes, good. Oh, come on.
I felt so terrible.
You know, what are you, a Buddhist?
I don't know. Maybe I am.
They're worried about karma and like if you kill anything, that there are some kinds of Buddhism where you
I was just watching them go in cheerily and then die.
Stop it. We've got to kill them. You can't have them eating your towels or whatever else they've got in your house.
Well, usually they just clean up the crumbs from the floor.
No. We got to take these things out. I am in favor of ant Armageddon.
Okay.
I'm genocidal about ants. I don't care who knows it. There, marabunta. So, look, you see?
How many?
Let it go too long, Leigh-Ann. That's what you're gonna end up with.
How many marabunta traps did you put down?
About 5.
Okay, I started with 2 conservatively.
I've put them in There's a windowsill where it
Yes,
seems
one's in
that
the
they
windowsill
come
for
out.
me.
And there's one that's in the laboratory because they I don't know where they're coming from, up or down, but they're gonna fucking die. I'm so excited, guys. I'll give you a death report. I'll see how many ants I've got. Internet told me to put bicarb and caster sugar in the ant holes in my garden. They're still there, just diabetic now.
But then, in the same breath, yes, was it yesterday morning? Yes. I saved a dog's life.
Oh, tell me about this. This sounds like a
So
good
then,
news story.
but yes,
Okay,
just
better than ant killing Leigh-Ann. And then I want to hear about PJ Powers. Did you try and kill her?
it was while I was buying the ant traps.
Oh, did she look down on you for that?
No, she was fine. She's a grandmom now.
Oh,
She's
exciting.
all very pulled together. She had
no, she's amazing.
her grandkids all around her, and
Yeah, James, we must get her in here one morning.
yeah,
She's lots of fun.
telling her, reprimanding her grandkids about things.
Okay.
It was just she was doing a normal life, which was nice.
I call her Penelope.
Penelope, not Penelope.
Not Penelope. Her name is Penelope, but I say, hello, Penelope. And she's like, what are you? You've been hitting the head hard?
Okay, so the dog
Yeah, go.
reversed out my driveway, saw the tip of a Jack Russell's tail through this overgrown grass on the pavement. And it's quite a busy corner, and I was just concerned because she seemed alone. I waited to see if she had a walker with her. No one. So I drove past her, and I did the thing where you have to turn around because it's, bugging you. And she was foraging. You could see she was hungry.
Shame.
And she did have a collar, so I thought, well, if there's a collar, let me. Got out my car, enticed her to come towards me, scared at first, but then just the sweetest thing. I should have brought a picture I do have of her. Little brown and white, slim Jack Russell,
man.
very cute.
Well, slim because she was hungry.
Yeah, but she wasn't to that point yet, but she did have fleas running over her body. So I knew she had been missing for a while. Saw that this collar thing had nothing on it, of course, and tried to then entice her to the car. But she's not one of those car dogs where they just jump in.
Maybe it's Cyril's dog because he always forgets what he's got and what's going on around him. And Joburg is how did Joburg become a mess? By the way, where's that Jack Russell?
And with his iPad.
It's been missing for 7 years. I didn't know. Where's the Jack Russell? No, I mean, it sounds like it could be his.
Maybe.
I'd phone the Union Buildings this morning if I were you. Good chance it's his dog. He just doesn't know.
So, man, eventually I thought, I'm not going to be able to get this dog into the car. I wish someone was here to help me. And a car pulled over, and it was my cousin.
No, out of all the things. See, Leigh-Ann.
I just pointed at the dog. She went like this because she said, it's truth, Bob. You run into Leigh-Ann and she's on the corner trying to
rescue a dog. That's very in character for you.
Yeah. So she managed, between the two of us, she
Okay.
managed to pick her up, put her in the back.
She didn't get fleas, did she?
I hope not.
Your cousin.
I need to ask her that.
Oh. If you phone her and you hear her going,
Or if she gets run over while she's walking across the road and she'd stop to scratch.
Shame. So any luck with finding
took
the
her
owner?
to the vet. No chip.
Yeah, listen, the people that just don't be an irresponsible, shitty pet owner. Like, if you, who doesn't care to the point where they're like, whatever happens, happens. It's not expensive, right?
No, it's not
You
expensive.
do it once.
It's done
The
once.
dog has a fucking chip in it. You can find it. People can find you.
Yeah, and remember to change your address and your phone number on your.
Oh, my God.
Anyway,
Cyril,
I just
telling
said to them, look, my family's recently rescued 2 Jack Russells, and I can't see this one just not finding a home. Let me know what happens. But the security companies have, and in fact, I'll call them out because it's really amazing. Beagle Watch,
Yeah.
funnily enough, have this network with the vets, the
Really?
veterinarians.
And what happens? What happens?
Where they've got this little network where they share pictures and do everything, and the vet clinics can find out which dogs belong where, and they get involved. They know which animals belong where as well. So,
Don't you love the sound of the aircon?
is that the aircon?
Isn't it nice? What did you think it was? A small biplane?
I was going to ask, but
Yeah, it sounded like a Spitfire. Yeah, if you were a Nazi, you'd be running and taking cover right now. Oh, mein Gott, Spitfire, Spitfire. Anyway, so Meghan Markle to change the subject.
Oh yeah. Okay, because she's.
She's released
Yeah.
this terrible show. Have you seen it?
I can't watch it.
It is so cringy.
I haven't watched it.
This woman is so goddamn cringy. She talks about like, I love that we have a moment when we're awake and when we're asleep. She's like, I don't know what she's ingested, like every bullshit pop psychology book of the last 20 years. And she comes up with these stupid sayings. Like she can't say, I'll put nice flowers in my guest room when I have guests. First of all, I can't believe anyone would visit that bitch. And I can't believe anyone would be around depressed Harry at all. So I don't know who their guests are. It's not going to be Harry's family. None of them want to see him. So who's visiting her? Oprah? Oprah's got her own house down the road. Meghan has to visit Oprah.
Yeah, she's not going to stay in her guest room.
Who? Like, who are these friends of yours that you... Because she invites her one friend, Mindy or Kimby or Dindy or whatever her fucking name is. No, you got to see this to believe it. This is such a bad show. Anyway, she's doing all these like domestic things, but you can tell she's never done this stuff. And she's first of all filming this on a set. It's not her house.
Mm.
And then she takes peanut butter pretzels or something, which she knows is her one Asian American friend's favorite thing. And this guy arrives, and you know what he looks. He's bald, and he's got like a fucking kimono on or whatever. Because he's her fun friend. He's her like, you know, her whole life is so curated. She's just so fake. She's such a fake person. Anyway, her friend likes peanut butter pretzels. So she takes them out of the store-bought packet that says peanut butter pretzels.
Mm.
She puts them in like a sandwich bag and ties a little string around it and then puts a label with handwritten peanut butter pretzels. Like in case he didn't know what the fuck they were by looking at them.
So she took it from packaging into packaging.
She's such an absolutely incorrigible, insufferable pain in the ass.
No, I can't watch
And she
that.
talks about her guest room, and she's like, here's some morning blossoms. They're flowers. Just say flowers. Can you imagine? If I were in that royal family, I would have said to Harry, you can't marry her, we'll shoot you.
Because if you marry her, you need to get out.
And this, you can tell, like, she's just the most awful, insincere, bullshit person. She's a bullshit person. There's no other way to put it. Like, she is absolutely awful. Watch this. Watch her talking to her friend. Her friend has the temerity to call her Meghan Markle, which is her fucking name. She goes, I go by Sussex now. Because, you know, she's the Duchess of Sussex. And there's this thing that English aristocrats do. If you have a title, you sign with your title. But she doesn't understand that, like, that's for Harry to sign Sussex. But he would probably sign Harry because he's more well-known as Prince Harry. He doesn't need a surname.
Yeah.
And their surname isn't Sussex. It's Mountbatten Windsor. But she wants to be, she so desperately wants to be more important than everyone else. She wants more love and attention than everyone else. But at the same time, she's doing this whole show to show that she's just an ordinary person who also cooks for her friends. Just watch this.
Okay.
I think anyone in the world knows that Meghan Markle has eaten Jack in the Box and loves it.
It's so funny, too, that you keep saying Meghan Markle. You know I'm Sussex now. You have kids and you go, no, I share my name with my children.
Yes.
And that feels so, I didn't know how meaningful it would be to me, but it just means so much to go, this is our family name, our little family name.
Well, now I know, and I love it.
God.
Oh, no, you see.
That poor friend of hers. She's like,
That is a
well,
Mindy. She
goes,
Mindy.
oh, well, now I know. And I love it because she's like, I've just been reprimanded by this fucking bitch on her live show. I can't. How do I climb down from that? And she's like, I never knew how meaningful it would be for our little family to have our little surname. Oh, you are just the worst. I think I would lunge across the table at her.
So my mom has.
I'd grab the collar. I'd say, stop it. You're so fake and fucking incorrigible.
My mum has started rewatching Suits, which she starred in. So I only.
She was hotter than that show.
Yeah.
She was really hot.
But also her character was good. I only associate her with that character.
Yeah.
So seeing this now, because you didn't get much of her character when she was a royal, because you know you're not allowed to.
She and Harry just have all they have done since they got married is complain about everything.
Yeah.
And they are like the most cosseted, comfortable, catered to precious, spoilt little fuckers in the world, and all they do, more her than him. He had like, oh, my mom was once alive and now she's not. And then everything that's happened to him since then, mental health, oh, mom, so he's like one of these people who you think, there are kids that are in cobalt mines in the Congo.
They're in sand.
They're in a tunnel of mud and sand, and they're catching every disease imaginable to bring out cobalt for your phone. And like Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are sitting in Montecito, California, going, "Wah, life is so hard. Wah." You want to assault them. You want to like physically attack them.
This is the first time I've been on board properly with you on Meghan Markle.
You must listen to me. I'm always ahead of the curve.
You're generally right.
I told you about all this shit. I'm never wrong. All those people who are wrong, they never apologize. Follow me. I'm here to be followed. Let's go.
You're like Jesus.
Let's go. Exactly. You see, finally you get it. So here she is on Drew. Now Drew Barrymore is the most vapid chick in the world. Like I think E.T. when they touched fingers with her, sucked out all her brains. That fucking E.T. This Drew Barrymore is unbelievably stupid. I don't know how she manages to make it through the day.
She's got people who do it for her.
Like, remember to breathe, Drew. Oh my God. Okay, I must breathe. She's just like Hollywood. Everything about her is just so Hollywood, right? So she obviously invites Meghan on.
Oh no! Don't tell me you're going to make us watch
Meghan
that as well.
Sussex. And that's a short clip. You won't die. Just check this out. Oh God.
I always make it a point when I'm traveling, if I can't do bedtime stories with my kids, because Archie and Lily are just 3 and 5. So I'll always pack a really thin book and I'll videotape myself reading it. So whoever's with them, Papa can say, here's Mama reading your bedtime story. You find ways to show up for each other. And if that's the one thing that I can convey through the show or through As Ever as a brand, I want people to know you can show up for each other because you know how good it feels when someone shows up for you.
It's terminology like show up for each other. It's like, I'm in a show, and Drew Barrymore's lapping that up, right? Because she's
we didn't have to see her at least.
Box of rocks. So she goes, oh, that's amazing. I love what you just said about showing up for each other. I'm always there with my girlfriends, and we're always like showing up for each other.
I'm surprised she wasn't sitting on Meghan's lap.
I don't think Meghan fucking Markle's ever read a book to her children. She probably keeps them in a different house.
No.
And everything, by the way, everything that she made for this show, and I didn't watch the show. I've only seen these clips that I'm showing you. This chick, there's a whole lot of raw chicken in the fridge behind her. Just a whole shelf of a fridge with just raw pieces of chicken in it. That's not normal. It's because she's not doing it. She doesn't know how to cook. Anyway, this is what happens when you name your kid the past tense of Drew. What a stupid name. Oh, I don't know what to say.
Oh, dear.
Anyway. She is terrible, though. Come on. I did tell you.
I liked her. Which one?
Meghan Markle.
Oh, yeah, no. Now I'm totally over it.
And I'm not going to call her Meghan Sussex. I'm calling you Meghan Markle until you're dead. I'm here, baby. I'm going to be here.
You're going to call her
I'm
worse.
your worst nightmare, all right? I'm going to stick around. I'm going to make sure I live longer than you. And I'm never going to call you anything but Meghan Markle. I'm taking this personally now. It's like, I'm never going to say, Tshwane. It's Pretoria. Same thing for you, Meghan Markle. Not going to change. I'll be that thorn in your side, even if you don't know who I am. Oy, oy, oy.
Oh, it's a lot.
So you think that's cringe, and it is. Here are a bunch of people. There's an Australian politician. You don't need to know who he is. It's not important. But there's some lame Australian politician who's like trying to get elected. And he's got groups of people who like sing terrible. These are old white people, basically, who sing songs. Have you got those people in the blue T-shirts?
Probably some of them are South African.
No, maybe. I don't know. But they're so bad. It's so bad. You must look. Now, in this clip, I want you to pay careful attention to the people. Look at each of their faces, then listen to how shit the song is, and then imagine if you were walking, because it looks like they're in some wildlife area. They're in a wilderness.
In the Wolof Pack.
Wolof Pack. They're in some sort of wilderness, and they they're all standing together in the same shirts. I don't even know what the song is, but it's
Oh,
awful.
and it's a group activity, which you love.
It's so awful. Okay, this is if you teleported me to those people in right now, wherever they are, singing their songs, kumbayaing, whatever, for this politician, that would be a microcosm of what hell would look like to me. Hell, I'd rather where demons are putting sticks up your asshole and burning your fucking face with
Pulling
irons
you by your
and,
eyelashes.
pulling out just your fingernails, and doing terrible things to you. That would be nothing as compared to this. Take a look.
'Cause we need a change to protect democracy. We gotta stand up if we want to see a future for the territory. Nothing left that we can do. It's the voice we want. Honesty, it's the voice we want. Integrity, it's the voice we want. Democracy, the voice we need. Oh, yes, indeed.
You know, between that and Meghan Markle, it's very hard to choose which is worse. How bad?
Why are you torturing us?
I don't know. I had to see this
I brought
weekend.
I brought videos of cute dogs.
Let me tell you,
You know?
I had to suffer preparing for this show today. I'm gonna make you suffer too.
Oh no, shame.
How terrible is that, hey?
No, that is awful.
Jesus.
It's the height of embarrassment.
It
and
gives me
cringe.
like you like a stabbing pain. You know, when you get like you're almost having a heart attack.
How did
I
this-
imagine that's what it would that's what it would feel like. I see. Do you see that old white guy, Flex?
Oh, no, they're all terrible.
Flex, can you imagine how boring their conversation at dinner is?
Would you pass the peas? These peas are so fresh. Oh my god.
Yeah, like Meghan Markle. They would get on with her very well because they'd be, you know, it's about like being there for each other,
Living in
the
moment.
Yeah, and you know, you've got to show up for each other.
Save space. What? Hold space.
Hold space for each
for
other.
the fresh peas.
And you know, they said it's saving democracy. That those 5 people in that video have such an inflated opinion of themselves that they think they're going to save democracy with their blue t-shirts and their shit song.
I wonder if they ever get to the point
Where they
because
remove the
there was
giant
a point where
nail that's been
I
lodged
was-
in their head when they hammered it in themselves.
I was brought up in a Christian family. I went to Sunday. I got expelled from Sunday school because
Yeah,
I was
well.
brought up evolution. But at one point, you are in it
Yeah.
because you don't know anything different.
Yeah.
And then you look back at yourself and you're like, how embarrassing. Do you think those people will ever get to a point where they're like, oh my gosh, did I do that?
No, they're too old and there's no helping them. And you can tell by their hairstyles that they
all had bedhead.
well, the one woman had like a typical sort of left wing, like a wide, they always have this very straight fringe.
You can't trust people with
No,
funny
you know,
fringes.
You know when they're like literally, you can see they put a pot on their head and they cut along there. I'm very suspicious of any women who have very straight fringes or have blue hair or orange hair or pink hair or any of those things. Any unnatural color that doesn't occur
Yeah.
in nature.
Any strange fringe shapes.
Fringe, that's a
Like if
dead
you've got
giveaway.
one that comes up here,
Yes. Oh, Jesus. Oh, those ones are deadly.
like Yolanda Fisser,
Yes.
or ones that are like,
Yes.
like
No, that's you know what they're doing? They're warning you that they're poisonous. They are.
like
It's
a
like
butterfly.
it's like a
frog.
the poison frog. They're always these bright colors, and you notice them straight away. Those women are warning you. Like if you had a girlfriend or a wife, guys, and she's got that hairstyle, fucking run for the hills because she's gonna rope you into singing. It's the one that we want for democracy. And it does have vibes. Someone put up Zuma must go. Remember, Zuma must go. Zuma.
Yeah.
See if you can find that. I missed that clip. Remember those old white chicks who sang that song? So cringe, though.
Mm-mm.
Anyway, let's go to Dr. Hanan. He's more important than any of this stuff. Maybe he can help us figure out what's wrong with those people. So every week we get to start our week with an appointment with a shrink. And if you watch the show enough, you'll know that that's exactly what Leigh-Ann and I need. In fact, last week we didn't have Dr. Hanan, and look at how we've spun out of control.
Look at this. Look at
Look
what
at what
we're
a
doing
disaster.
to ourselves.
You know, you go away for 1 week and look at how we unravel.
You cannot skip a week. You cannot do that.
No, you can't skip an appointment. It's like
No, you can't.
my trainer at gym. He's like, if you're not here tomorrow, I'm firing you because you're going to get fat and lazy. So this is the same thing with you. Make our brains lazy and fat if we don't see you. So first of all, how are you, Doc?
Now we got to start all over again.
Oh, dear.
I know. You good?
I'm good. How are you doing, guys?
All right. So here we go. Hanan, please help. Straight away, we've got a problem. I have separation anxiety from not having you on the show last week.
It's not your fault.
It's not you, it's me.
What is separation anxiety? I thought that was just a thing dogs had. Like, you know, when you get home and your dog is like super excited to see you because it's been separated from you and it's been anxious.
After it's teared apart the sofa.
Yeah, but is that a thing for humans or is that just a dog thing?
No, it's a thing for humans, especially kids. And when parents teach their kids the inability to function on their own, then the children become dependent on mom and dad being around them in order to feel safe. So when mom and dad are not there, the children obviously feel that separation anxiety. But at some stage, it is quite normal. I mean, children fear the dark. They want mom and dad there. Children fear the monster under the bed when mom and dad has to be there, which is kind of normal for a young child. But as they grow up, they should learn to be able to adapt on their own, for sure.
So you bring up children, and I know we had other things that you want to talk about here. Maybe we can bring the power of therapy up just now, but I actually want to talk about this for a second, because I've seen two kinds of parents lately, and you can maybe give me the labels because I don't know what the nomenclature around this is. But there are parents who are too involved in their kids' lives. They're like always, are those the helicopter parents? Those are the ones that are always hovering over their kids?
Yeah.
Is that them?
And a lot of the time, it's the parents' insecurities that they bring on to their children.
Oh, yeah.
Children are naturally born into this world wanting to explore. They want to go on some crazy adventures. Yeah. And when mom and dad are overly protective, they're helicopter parenting. Mm-hmm. Don't do this. Careful there. Don't go there. Yeah. Careful. Don't touch this. Don't speak up. Don't do this. Don't do that. And the child learns that they have to stay within a very confined comfort zone and hold on to mom and dad in order to feel secure. It actually breeds insecure children. The reality is that we want to create children that are independent, the children that are able to function on their own. They have the resiliency and the self-esteem to be able to step out of the comfort zone with bravery and confidence. And if you teach your kids that you can only do that whilst and only when mom and dad are there, you're actually shackling your kids, you're actually holding them back, you teaching them to stay within their comfort zone and not go and explore. Yeah,
that's not good. Look, you don't want to send your child into Luhansk or Donetsk in the Ukraine or into Gaza, for God's sake. But you don't want them to be completely looked after, protected, cotton-wooled. So you get those parents, and I've seen some of these lately, and it's a horror show. I mean, these mums are like, they're so scared anything interesting will happen to their kids that these are the parents, by the way, who do the kids' homework for them. We were talking yesterday at a family lunch about how did you get like a lunchbox?
Yeah.
But there was nothing fancy in it.
No,
right?
I got a sandwich in tinfoil.
Right.
I didn't get a lunch.
And sometimes
box,
like
actually.
an apple or whatever.
Not even. No.
Yeah,
just had a sandwich in tinfoil.
Okay, so you were raised even more feral than me because we would get sandwiches. That's pretty much standard. And they weren't gourmet sandwiches by any stretch of the imagination.
No, like sandwich spread was gourmet.
But there were kids who would arrive with like a suitcase on wheels with like layers, with trays and things, and almost like those things that they bring down the aisle in a fucking plane, right? And they have their choice of, they'd have a little thing of pasta and then some pesto that they'd spread onto the pasta. It was like watching Gordon Ramsay. I'd see these kids and I'd be like, who has the time? Have you got a full-time chef at home making your lunch? My mom would, like, peanut butter was fantastic, right?
Yeah. No, I would get like, sandwich ham and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then sometimes peanut butter and syrup.
And all of them would, by the middle of your school day, they'd all smell the same.
They all smell the same. And oh wait, I did get a biscuit sometimes.
Oh, nice.
But it would
But
be
they
on top of the
soggy.
bread.
So it'd be soggy by
So you'd have a chocolate imprint on your savory sandwich.
The reason I bring up all of this.
But think about how we grew up with. I mean, what did your lunchbox actually look like? I think it was that plasticky thing with a white lid, and there was a compartment for a juice and a compartment for your sandwich, right?
Right.
You must see Gareth. You must see the contraptions that kids have these days.
Tell me, please tell me.
Upon layers. Upon layers. Press this button, and a middle drawer comes out. Press this button, and the kosher section it flips over.
It's like having two kitchens.
It's fun. Press this button, and it calls mom straight away to come to the school and bring you your plasters. It's incredible, this thing.
Wow. I want to see this stuff because I haven't dealt with lunchboxes for 25 years, whatever.
No,
I'd love to see what they're doing now.
It's a science these days. It's a science.
So the parents who are packing these multi-layer
with crudité
kitchens into their kids' fucking lunch. I mean, those parents are they?
Well, it's just in case. What if our little Timmy isn't happy with these his sandwich? What is he gonna do?
Yeah.
Barter with Bob?
Do you
feel not happening?
Maybe you don't feel like carrots today. Maybe you feel like broccoli, or maybe Meghan Markle should be putting in peanut butter pretzels.
Yeah. Have a polished grape.
So, who's doing their kid a disservice? Our parents who basically left us in the wild, or these parents?
Look, I prefer obviously the old school parenting where you teach your child resiliency. The child, you see, what happens with parents is that they don't actually trust their children to be able to cope with their own set of skills and learn as they fall. I always tell parents, ask yourself before you go and save your child, before you give them your help or your guidance, failing for them, is it going to be consequential? And if the answer is yes, then obviously rescue, save, be there, overcompensate, and make sure that they're safe. So, for example, crossing the road by themselves. Is it going to be consequential if they fail? The answer is, of course. Then obviously don't let them do that. But if your child's on the playing field and the child might fall, is it consequential? Probably not. They scrape their knee, they'll get up. And if it isn't consequential, let them learn. There's something really magical about not intellectually maneuvering through life, but rather experientially. Nothing teaches you more than life experience. And when you steal, and the accurate word is steal, that experience from your kids, you're weakening them. You're making them weaker. You're making them more dependent on you. You're making them distrust in their own ability to manage their own lives. So again, ask yourself as a parent, will my child failing here going to be consequential? And if the answer is no, let them walk through it. Falling, failing, scraping their knee as part of life experience that they'll need to go through throughout their lives. And the reality is that you might stop them from scraping their knee now or failing now, but you're not stopping them from scraping their knee and failing later. So all you're doing is kicking the can down the road, but later on it becomes a massive barrel for them to deal with. So rather let them experience now and ask yourself, is it consequential or is it not?
I love that. Congo Chris says it was always easy to know which parents hated their children. Their lunchbox stank of fish paste.
Oh, yeah, we had fish paste and egg. I knew when my mom had made me an egg sandwich.
Oh, boy.
As the children would go running.
Yeah. I'll admit I packed my kids such a nice lunch. I grew up in the rough South where the camel cotch was a luxury. It's an obscene thing these days, says Carl. Yeah, I love what you said now, Doc, about how you can't steal these experiences from your kids and stop them from having them themselves. And I wonder if any parent ever feels like they're getting it right, because there isn't a guidebook and every child is different. Correct. And I suppose you have to make the decision every time whether or not you're going to let this happen or whether you're going to intervene.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Look, you're quite right, Gareth. I mean, there's no manual for perfect parenting, and parenting is a very, very tough job because it's kind of on the job learning. So we read all the books beforehand, and once we have kids, we put these books aside and we really learn through the experience of walking up with our children, through them growing up. So, even making children, we all want the best for our children, making them these super cool lunches that we never had, or traveling with them, which we never had the opportunity to, or showing them things around, around their world that we never got to see. Yeah, that's very cool. But again, when your child, you must understand the human condition and the human experience is going to go through grief and sadness and anxiety and frustration and guilt and anger and suffering. And that's life. And don't try to protect your kids from these things. They do happen. And when they do happen, you want your child to be competent enough to deal with it. But the only way that they will learn is if they walk through it. They'll walk through it enough times and they'll develop the skill set to walk through it. Again, they won't fear it. So they'll feel anxiety, but they won't fear it. They'll feel guilt, but they won't fear it. They'll feel grief, but they won't fear it. They'll walk through life with bravery, but let them walk through it. So again, the message to all parents, ask yourself, can I let my child go through this experience, knowing that if they fail, it's going to be consequential? And if the answer is yes, then obviously protect them. And if the answer is no, let them walk through it.
I love that. I think that's a great way to start the week. You don't have kids. It's like you've got to make those decisions for yourself too. Experience the hard stuff as well as the
same thing.
good.
You're quite right, Gareth. Yeah. That's quite accurate and profound. This is not just for parents and kids. This is for our lives as well. Ask yourself, will making a mistake be consequential for me? And if the answer is no, then walk through it. Yeah. Fail, fall, go for it. Learn through the experience as opposed to stopping yourself from going through something that you will go through anyway.
I love it. All right, Doc. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us again.
Nice to see you guys.
Oh, have you got a lunchbox here? Oh, here. Oh, gee, that is revolting.
That looks like turds.
What is that?
And a small penis next to an enormous egg.
That's Flex's lunchbox. It's not yours. That's Flex's, and I love that it's pink. Is that cutlery in the top?
Are those chicken feet or?
Those are chicken heads.
Oh, Jesus, they are.
And that tiny little banana, Flex, are you compensating for something? The hell? And that fucking crooked egg, that egg isn't even egg-shaped. What have you done to it?
Freud would have a field day.
What is that, Doc?
Freud
would have a field day with this.
No, you know what? That's the worst lunchbox. James, that's not yours. Seriously, whose is that? No, honestly, you got to think about this. I haven't thought about lunchboxes until it came up at lunch yesterday.
I mean, they look very cool, but it's not the way we were brought up.
And Dr. Hanan, before you go, there's a whole economy around. Oh, is he gone? Okay. There's a whole economy around lunchboxes.
He's going to pack his lunchboxes
yeah, exactly.
for his kids.
He's going to pack his kids' lunchboxes. Tell you what, I reckon Hanan packs a decent lunchbox there for his kids. I think his kids, they have a nice lunch.
No, it's probably somewhere right in the middle.
I think he's got them because he's a psychologist. He knows what he's doing. And spoil the kids.
Maybe he gives them like stale bread on a Thursday or something.
Just to keep them humble, Yeah. No, I reckon the best lunch boxes for me were the ones that I could swap out with other kids for tuck money.
Because
we
I just had a flashback.
We would, every now and then, it was totally capricious. We didn't know when it was going to happen. Every now and then, I say we, my brother and I, because my sister was, considerably younger. Just one of these days, arbitrarily, like our parents would throw some money at us. And it wasn't a lot. They'd be like, here's some tuck money. Little fucks. I couldn't be bothered to make a lunchbox for you today. 5 Rand was a lot then.
Yeah, that was.
Right? That was like a packet of chips and a hot dog or whatever. Whatever. So, but it was totally arbitrary. You'd never know when it was going to happen.
Yeah. So they probably had they were at the wine the night before, probably bonked into the middle of the night, and then didn't get up to make you a sandwich.
See, I couldn't even say that my parents had anything to do with drinking because they never drank. They would just go. I think my mom would say, "Oh, I found some money in my
forgot to buy bread."
Here, just take this and don't complain. And we'd be like, "Wow, cool! I'm gonna buy some lunch today."
That was always fun.
And then there were always these like big, homely women who ran the tuck shop. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
And they'd be like, "What do you want?" And you'd say, "One of those or one of those. Can I afford both?" They'd be like,
I wonder how many times I wonder how many coins they counted in their lives.
So many. Anyway, That was the best. The worst case scenario was sandwiches, but
Just with no margarine and a swipe of Bovril.
yeah, like that was bad. That was a bad day. And those are always the days you were most hungry. Anyway, hardly like the toughest thing in the world. I don't want to sound like Meghan Markle, you know.
Yeah.
But I did get this little plastic bag with a little string around it with peanut butter pretzels written on it.
Cringe.
God, can't handle that woman. All right, we'll be back in just a moment or two. It's Monday morning. Don't go anywhere.
I'm the victim. Yeah. Of potholes. I drive sports cars. You can't fix potholes when they are wet. You cannot work on a road surface that is wet. The biggest problem with people complaining at this particular time, it happens every year. From December up until February, there's heavy rains that are happening. Yes. Now, water is the biggest enemy of road, of asphalt. What we would call tar. Yes, it washes the roads away. That is why you would find a lot of potholes during this time. And unfortunately, you can't fix potholes when they are wet. You cannot work on a road surface that is wet. So, which is why the potholes will take longer to fix at this particular time. Of course. But once the rain has stopped, you will see JRA working. But it doesn't mean we do not work. We do respond where it gets dry. The teams go out and they go and fix. The only work that we do during a rainy time or when it rains is unblocking of stormwater drains and so on and so on. But the road infrastructure we cannot touch when it's wet because it will be waste of asphalt.
If you like, yeah, just only a picture, then I'll send you maybe $500, whatever.
There are fetishes that people have. Toes, they are toe OnlyFans people. Like OnlyFans woman just shoots her toes and people buy the.
They get paid, ne?
They get paid for toes. Have you found men like wanting to pay to see your breasts or sexually for your breasts?
Or
fetishes like that? What happened?
No, I just only got a DM on TikTok.
Yeah.
No, they have like I think 1,000 messages on TikTok.
Sure.
Yeah. Then,
for guys saying.
Yeah, please, send me your boobs for $800. So like, baby, look.
$800. That's like 16,000 rand, 15,000 rand. Eh?
Is it 15,000?
Gee whiz, and you got 1,000 of those.
And Sister Bettina's looking at you right now like, hey,
I want gigantic.
I my grandmother to sweep these things.
We've commodified women's bodies. So like, even something that for you is a medical condition. Like, how crazy is that?
People are so
it's a medical condition, and people are like, I'll pay to see that. Like, who's gonna be like, yo, you got a huge growth on your back?
Fall pregnant. I'm not saying they fall pregnant to do this, but the pregnant women go and do OnlyFans while they're pregnant, because there's guys who want to see a pregnant woman doing certain things too.
There are. Oh, those people. Oh, those people. What a thing to do to you on a Monday. I'm sorry.
So disappointed in humanity.
I really am. Okay, so here's something interesting. Azalea, her daughter, got into trouble at school last week for charging the other kids 50 rand per hour to hotspot off her phone at school. I was so proud of her. That's a little business she's got going there. That's clever, huh? 50 rand an hour.
To multiple people?
Yeah, so she basically, her phone was like doing all the work.
And I thought I was cool by selling those popsicles at break time.
No, this is the new economy. This is great. Well done to your daughter. That's very good. For me, I have the best memories. This is Straya Matey, 19, eating cheddar cheese and Vegemite sandwiches from when I was 5 to 11 throughout the whole day, the whole span of my primary school years. It was easy to make and taste delicious too. All right, whatever. Ladysmith White Mambazo is what people are calling that. Zuma must go and those other people. Ladysmith White Mambazo. All right, so I've got some other stuff for you that's a lot more fun and a lot less depressing than those terrible, terrible singers. Here are some people who walk on all fours.
Oh, no.
You remember this?
Is it that story from years ago with that
Yes.
family?
Yes. And I'd forgotten about it. But just because I have a brain that files a whole lot of stupid shit, I found this for you. This is like but they do look like they haven't evolved, that like they're very primitive.
It looked like it was a joke when I first saw it.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those unbelievable things, but it turned out to be true.
It's true. So have a look. These are people who haven't evolved. Okay. Where's the clip? Okay, I'll walk. I'll do it. I'll walk on all fours. Don't want to disappoint the audience. They've come for the Cro-Magnon man who walks on all fours. Any time now would be great. You did say you'd loaded all of these. Jesus, you are so fast asleep. I swear, sometimes I walk in and James and Flex are on all fours. Walking around the studio like unevolved humans, like proto-humans. Oh, come on. It's the clip with the chick in the beginning who goes, "This is a video that you are unprepared for." It's also like 60 minutes or whatever. And it's this Turkish family. Like they live in
the mountains.
Yeah, some remote
grassy
place.
mountain area.
And they didn't interfere with them in the beginning because they didn't want to like change them. Because they were this bizarre human experiment, right?
Mm.
She talks about them like being the holy grail of evolution.
Even their bones were different as well.
They got it. They walk flat on their hands. Take a look.
You're about to meet a family that shouldn't exist, a family like no other. They could just be the missing link between man and ape, the holy grail scientists have sought for generations. They're living, breathing men and women, but they walk on all fours, just as we did 4 million years ago. And until this film was shot, they were hidden away, unseen by the outside world. A remote village in Turkey. Here, hidden from the world, lives an extraordinary family. A family whose very existence could rewrite the evolution textbooks.
I was really fascinated. You know, here are humans doing things that they're not meant to be doing.
For the past year, their existence has been known to just a handful of experts who have been sworn to secrecy. When I heard of it myself, I was intrigued, but nothing prepared me for the reality. Now, finally, the secret can be revealed.
The immediate response I had was that I couldn't believe my eyes. I had never expected that, even under the most extraordinary scientific fantasy, that modern human beings could return to an animal state.
In scientific terms, it was the equivalent of finding living, breathing fossils. Human beings who had never made the evolutionary leap of standing upright.
So, what do you think? You think
I
it's
still
real?
feel like it could maybe not be real.
I don't know. They look pretty primitive to me.
But
that one chick, if you can call her that, has like a unibrow.
So, of all the things she's doing in her life, you picked out the unibrow.
The unibrow is for me the dead. That's always a sign that you are probably more ape-like than anything else.
Fringes and unibrows, anything to do with the forehead area.
I mean,
and you started with that guy with an extra big.
Exactly. So she opens up. I'm obviously very worried about foreheads and like unibrows. Anyway, they open up the clip and she's like, "These people could be the missing link between man and ape."
Yeah.
And then they show them and they kind of look primitive.
Do you know
right?
the difference between monkeys and apes?
No, tell me. Where did you?
Oh, I learned it this weekend.
Okay, go on.
Monkeys have tails.
Yes. You didn't know that?
I thought chimps were monkeys.
No, that's why you're an ape.
But a chimp is an ape. It's not a monkey.
No, you're an ape. I'm an ape. We're not monkeys.
I thought chimps and monkeys were the same.
No. We're all primates, though.
But what if you're born with an extra?
The primate? I think it's the primate genus with them. But apes and monkeys different because they don't have tails, or they do have tails.
I had a friend who had an extra.
Like
she had to have it removed at birth.
Vestigial tail.
Yeah.
Really?
So was she a monkey and I'm an ape?
Yeah. She was
Right.
a monkey. You could actually legitimately get away with calling her a monkey.
Do baboons have tails?
No, I've got a little.
They're apes.
Apes.
Okay.
I've got a little like stub as well, but not much to write home about.
Okay.
But there's another friend of mine who did tell me that at their school they had a girl who had a tail.
Oh.
Yes. Your
And
coccyx.
they never chopped it off.
Yeah, end of your spine.
Yeah, it just carries
Still
on
a
going.
little bit of it's still a little bit of a tail there. But you know, it's not. It doesn't stick out. Imagine if someone had a tail to wag.
Some people believe they do.
Yeah, like the furries.
They identify
but
as cats.
Those are lunatics. With mental health problems. Next week with Dr. Hanan, we'll ask him about that. Okay. So speaking of like primitive and terrible looking, I found this video again. You remember how much fun we had with this, with all the different ages of the women in that one family?
No, I don't.
And they all tell you what year they were born. James, you remember this. This is like one of our favorite clips of all time. And it came up in my feed yesterday, and I just started laughing outrageously. And I thought, got to show this on the show again tomorrow. Here we go. No, you can't hire. You just can't.
Wait, show us your tails.
Oh, fucking apes! Really? Have you got that clip?
बर्थ ईयर है ये मेरी बर्थ ईयर है ये मेरी जन्म तारीख है ये मेरी जन्म तारीख है मेरे जन्म तारीख है
You remember that? I love that clip. I think we played it like a year ago, and I just love it.
I do remember now.
Okay, so here we go. Hermine says, I'm sure there is an Only Tales website somewhere. They would win the bear crawl event at the CrossFit Games, those people who walked on all fours. I love the awkward pauses before videos, says Stefan. Gareth, start labeling your clips for James. Don't tell me what. This is not a Gareth problem. This is a James problem. Okay? My ancestor was a colleague of Charles Darwin, James Wheel. Oh, really? That's interesting. Well, he'd have a field day with those people in Turkey.
Yeah.
Imagine what he would have thought. He would have probably collected them in a bottle, taken them back to the British Museum. You won't believe what I found in Turkey. Gareth gets his news from The Onion, says Virus. No, that clip you saw, by the way,
I remember it.
I downloaded that last night at midnight. This is how long into the night I work to bring you this fresh material.
Wow.
Every day. So what is on your agenda this morning? We haven't even given you a chance.
There's a guy who's being hailed a hero in Australia.
Who's this?
It was on one of their local flights, and this he was actually turned out to be a teenager. This teenager, they just landed, and this teenager started running across the wing of the aircraft. And then the story is unclear. I don't know exactly what happened.
It sounds like something from the Twilight Zone.
He then shouted, there were 6 words. I've got bombs on board or something. He said, I'm bringing bombs on board. And he had a shotgun, like a rifle. And this Australian sheep shearer, literally, that's what he does. He's a sheep shearer. Quite an old dude too. I mean, not a young guy. Wrestled this teenager to the ground, got him into a chokehold, and brought him on, and they managed to disarm him. He had not only the gun, but he had screwdrivers and things in like a tool belt. But he's now being hailed a hero. And you know what these Australians, these characters are like in the news when they're being interviewed?
Yeah, he's like, well, I just did what I've done on me fam.
So there are two videos. The one explains what happens and how he
I love
gets
this guy.
hero's welcome.
People always say like violence is not the answer, but when you're dealing with like deranged lunatics, violence is absolutely the answer. You got to take them down. And I love the fact that there's a big Australian farmer
who's used to handling sheep.
What's this guy making all this fucking noise for? We don't have time for this. I'm gonna miss me flight.
Yeah,
he just takes him down. I love that. I love that this guy might be the last real Australian left.
Yeah, I think so.
So okay, play the clip. Let's go.
I'll just hold him down. I don't want to go.
Yeah.
Right?
How is this possible? How is this possible?
Just wait till you get a copper. I'll just let this hand go.
So you jump it?
How'd you get here? We're all safe. We just keep flying and that's behind us. Thanks, Gary.
Has it all sunk in what happened yesterday?
It has. I've had that many phone calls and different things ringing me. I haven't had time to think, but it's reality's hitting. Yeah.
But, I mean, do you replay it in your mind what actually happened?
Well, I sat at my daughter's house last night in Hamilton Heights in Geelong, and I probably had about maybe 2 hours sleep. Yeah, but all I wanted to do was look after that beautiful air hostess lady, which my daughter and I are going to catch up with the next couple of weeks. I felt so sorry for her, where she was probably in a front line where I've never seen nothing like it before in my life. I finally got here, and I just can't wait to see Jake play tonight. And I've known him from a little boy, and I've admired him and what his father and mother and his father supported him, and it's just been unbelievable.
So he,
all right,
he did it for the pretty air hostess.
Yeah, I mean that's a great
firing line.
motivation, right? He's like, you're not gonna mess with her. I like that, Sheila.
And
I'm gonna protect her.
It was difficult to hear, but when he had that hero's welcome, he said something about, I want to kiss all of you. You're so pretty.
Well, he lives on a sheep farm. He's used to only the animals.
Yeah, he's used to seeing the butts of sheep.
But what a like loser this guy is. Who was, I mean, he's terrorist, right? Because that's what terrorists do, is they terrorize people. So this kid must be the biggest loser in the world. I really hope this guy got in like a couple of nice shots to the face for this guy. Hit him once or twice. Yeah, violence is the answer sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so a probe has been launched after a psychiatric patient murdered another patient and then bit his genitals. This happened here in South Africa at the Limpopo Philadelphia Hospital. I didn't even know we still had a whole lot of mental institutions, but clearly this is one of them, right?
Well, they say that it was a psychiatric ward at the hospital.
Okay.
But I mean, all hell broke loose, and it was 2:00 in the morning.
And the one oak murdered the other one.
Yeah.
And then also bit his genitals. This is what we're dealing with.
So, no, it's actually really disturbing.
Fuck's sake.
This guy, this patient had a gun. How?
Well, I don't know. And it's probably the nurses have to have guns.
Walked in and shot this other patient in the head, and then proceeded to beat him up. This guy was found with no teeth in his head, and then started like eating his genitals. So the security guards walked in to find a dead man lying on his back with this guy full of blood with his face in his genitals, eating his genitals.
Wow.
And so the security guard shot him in both legs.
I'm canceling whatever we're going to talk to Hanan about next week, because this is going to be the thing. Because there is proper crazy in the world, right? We've become like Meghan Markle, where we think everything is a shade of gray. It's like, well, this person just if they just got enough love, if you just gave them space, if you just sat with them,
hold space for them,
if you talked to them long enough, because that's what therapy is. If you just talk to them for long enough, this person would be fine. No. This person was feasting on the genitals of another dead person in a mental hospital. This person is absolutely fucking crazy. There are crazy people beyond saving that should be put in straitjackets like in the old days. and in padded cells and avoid it at all costs. You know? This is like Hannibal Lecter level stuff.
Yeah,
No, Clarice, that is incidental. No,
they'll
we
never
can't
be
have this.
okay.
Listen,
They can't be
we need
rehabilitated.
places to put these people. They must throw away the key. Put them in and never let them out. And don't even let them talk to each other.
But I mean, it was completely disastrous too, because the security guard who shot him in each leg, in the whole, while everything was unfolding, his colleague security guard shot the security guard by mistake.
Who's running this place? That's what I want to know. Like, who's in charge?
This is why there's a probe, you see.
This Limpopo, Philadelphia hospital, I don't know what else is going on there, but it should be shut down immediately. It's being run like the worst spaza shop in the whole country. Okay, because I know people say it's been run like a spaza shop, but spaza shop owners work hard. We've determined this. This is like, I don't know. This is Cyril not looking after his iPad times 1,000, right?
Several spent cartridges were found at the scene.
My God. So they could have shot more people. If there were more people in the way, they could have been killed as well. Listen, whoever's running this place needs to account for themselves. I want explanations.
How can they say that this is a psychiatric ward in a hospital? I think they're lying. I think this is a psychiatric hospital.
Well,
because why does it say police
imagine-
arrested the suspected killer and charged him with murder before taking him to a local hospital to be treated for his wounds?
Okay,
he was
so-
in a hospital. So this is a mental institution.
Okay, so if it isn't, imagine you go there and you're just going to have a routine, like you're having your tonsils out, and you're on the same floor as these mental patients,
See,
and you wake up from your tonsil up and you see another guy eating another guy's genitals.
And listen, this stuff, I've been in a mental ward. I've been on the ward. I was in there for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And there were literally people, other patients,
Mad.
following me around.
Mad.
Drinking hand sanitizer.
Yes.
Opening the curtain to stare at me during the night. And at one point, they actually gave me my own room because of that. And the person whose room I took, I woke up and he was just standing next to my bed staring at me.
No.
So you see, these things happen.
There are some lunatics, okay? Mad. Do you remember when we'd say that these people are mad? Like someone who stands on the street corner and mutters to themselves. Now you can get them on Twitter.
And
they're
on meds.
they're available to you 24/7, right? You just go on. By the way, this is not mad, and it's probably not even very nice that I'm showing you this, but show the video of the kid that rolls over and shows you what it looks like. And this, not mad, but it's, I mean, I'd be as frightened of this as I would be of the mental patients you just spoke about. They were hanging around you, just staring at you over the bed. Oy, oy, oy. We got some crazy in the world. There is actually, there's unsolvable crazy. There's a level of it you can do nothing about. Those people must just be locked away.
Oh, I mean, the girl next to me, I woke up to her finishing her story to her psychiatrist, and it ended with, as I woke up, and then that's why I burnt the house down. And then minutes later, she was kicking my tin side table, telling me to stop snoring or get the fuck out.
Oh, and she would have burnt you too if she'd stayed there long enough.
I think I might have been in the wrong ward.
Oh my God. Okay, look at this quickly. Some light humor for the morning.
Here I am.
Oh, do it again.
Here I am. Here I am.
Enough. That's enough. That's
That woman
enough.
in the cinema had one of my tinfoil sandwiches.
Isn't that terrible? Huh? The hell is that? You know, if you have, you know why I do all of this to you on a Monday? You know why? You know why I show you like irritating things like Meghan Markle and those white people in the woods singing for
Cringy
that politician,
things.
and then this baby with a face like a demon. You know why I do this to you?
Why?
To remind you how lucky you are. and how little you actually have to complain about. Don't you think? This is much better. A soul was crushed this weekend when the sun didn't shine for Cash Money, the tiny golden dog.
A little wiener.
Okay, what
sausage dog
on earth did I just read? A soul was crushed this weekend when the sun didn't shine for Cash Money, the tiny golden weenie dog.
Yes.
What on earth does that mean?
So
What is it?
I have a video to back it up. But it's this little dog who sits in the same patch of sun every day, and the effort he goes through to get there. And this day happened to be overcast.
And I'm meant to feel bad about this.
No, it's just cute. I thought it was cute.
All right, let's go. Okay.
So the reason I
That's
showed
sweet.
this was
That's
because
sweet.
it was
That's very cute.
one of the most liked videos on TikTok
Thank
over the
goodness,
past
you know?
6.6 million likes.
That's lovely.
Just something wholesome.
Yeah.
And even YouTube and YouTube weirdly on TikTok commented.
See, I love that. I love this dog video. It's very cute, but I also love the one of the child with
I'm sure you do.
I like both.
Here I
Sorry. Just love it. I love both. We're not going to play the dog video again. It's too long.
No.
So what kind of comments were there?
There were things like, you need to buy him a son immediately. Like,
Oh,
why haven't you bought
shame.
him one?
Oh.
And he has these little plans for the day with a crying face. The son should be ashamed, honestly,
Yeah.
says someone else. And then, some big time YouTube got on and said, son, you'd better come out tomorrow. You hear us? And then TikTok itself, you could see him processing the audacity of the clouds in real time.
Yeah.
So it was just, something wholesome.
I like that.
6.6 million likes, which is a lot.
And then we did talk about this, that McLaren crash in Cape Town. Remember, we went into full investigative journalism mode, didn't we, Leigh-Ann?
That was the Nigerian
rapper. Yes.
You liked him because he wore pajamas.
Yes, I loved that. I thought that was very much an indication of the quality of his character, that he was wearing pajamas and driving a McLaren at 200 kilometers an hour down a normal residential road.
Well, obviously, those residents have been complaining bitterly, but apparently there is a thing where after midnight there's illegal street racing.
So that I can hear them at night where I live too. And I just think we should put a big chain across the road without telling them.
Well, Helen Ziller's come out and said, we acknowledge the complaints and we're going to do something about it.
What? Is she going to stand there and shout at them?
No, man.
Helen Ziller, no, I've told you once, you must not come down this road. I'm not going to let you do it again. All right.
So remember his response was like, oh, nah.
Yeah, he was like illiterate.
Small things.
And he brought God into it.
Nigerian rapper.
Or my jizzles or whatever.
Three-gar baby or whatever he's called.
Yeah.
He sent a post saying, bad things happened, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he's deleted that now. He is facing charges.
Good.
And he
Uba,
has said he's not.
That's right. That's his name.
Yeah,
something like that. We've gone over this territory.
Yeah, we have.
Don't need to do it again.
But he has now said it wasn't 200 kilometers per hour was not my initial speed. I was avoiding a homeless person. He says the video was edited.
Yeah.
And that there was a homeless person that he was dodging.
This guy must be so stupid. How does someone that stupid have a car like that.
He's denying negligent driving.
And he's denying what we can see with our eyes. There's the actual video. You
He
can
said,
see
no,
the
no,
accident.
no. That video was edited.
You are lying.
He's now realized the seriousness behind this.
Oh, only now. I'm telling you, this guy should also be in a mental hospital where the cannibals are eating each other. Clearly, he's not very bright.
Apparently, there was a Ferrari accident there just recently as well, which is now
Oh my God.
led to all of that.
You know what I want to do? Just create I'll buy an island. Okay, similar to my original idea for the gladiatorial games. But we'll
Yes.
buy an island. We'll put the guy from the mental hospital,
Mm.
the guy who drives the McLaren, Meghan Markle, that kid that reveals its face and everyone screams, 5 forehead guy, all of them. Just put them all on there, and then we could just have cameras, and they can just go crazy. Meghan can make little packets of things.
No, I think
and fight off the
Meghan
mental
and
patients.
Meghan and the rapper deserve to be on that island.
And all those other people. I'm telling you, it'll be so much fun to watch them interact. And then they can be out of our, the real reason to do it is not just to watch them with cameras and things, because I think that will get boring, but to remove them from society so we can have happy times and happy lives. We don't deserve to have these people among us, do we? It's terrible. All right. I want to talk about something because it's come back to haunt us, right? We thought that load shedding was over.
Yes, it did rear its ugly little head again.
We got a little bit complacent. You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right? A lot of us were, electricity is not going to be a problem anymore. Well, that's just exactly when they come back and they nail you.
Mm.
So you don't expect it. But we've got to talk about solar again, because I think this is still something, and I think about this often. I wonder about all these businesses that started and are supplying solar to everybody. Some of them are better than others, obviously, but there are rules in that environment. There are things you need to know. There are costs that can be prohibitive if you're not careful. We got to watch these things. So I've decided we needed to get someone in who knows what they're talking about. We found Peter Shackleford, who is from Solar Shack. He's the CEO. And they're a Gauteng-based company that specializes in designing and installing tailored solar systems for various property types. And you know that this is obviously a big deal when you're buying a property now, or if you're selling a property.
No, it's a huge selling
Massive,
point.
right? It's more than like what the garden looks like, for example.
Yeah.
Way more than that. So we're going to talk to him about all of this. So thanks for coming to see us, Peter. How are you?
My pleasure to see you. And
No.
pleasure to be here.
Yeah,
well,
very
thank
nice
you.
to see you. Okay, so tell us, like, how's solar been doing since they fixed the load shedding temporarily?
Yeah.
And did you suddenly have a massive spike again, like 2-3 weeks ago?
That's a very good question. Very good question. In all the years of my business, I have never seen an avalanche of business like we saw in 2023.
Yeah, 23 was the worst one.
It was bizarre.
Could you keep up?
No, we couldn't. I had customers on a 6 and 8 week waiting list.
Wow.
Yeah, and they had paid up front. The business itself was, I think I'm not going to be quoted here, but about 20 billion rands worth of business. I think just over the 22, 23. And all of a sudden, its rug was pulled out from underneath it. Let me take you a step back. 16 years ago when I started this business.
You were way before load shedding.
Way before load shedding. I'm a techno freak, so I love this
Right.
type of thing. And I started experimenting. I got my first solar panels through, and I'm going to use the name Siemens.
Sure.
People laughed at me. They said, but electricity is for free. It's always there. What do you want to play with this stuff for? I said, it's coming, guys. It's coming. Well, yeah, we were on the edge of the curve, right on the edge. And when this load shedding was miraculously fixed, look, I'm not a religious person, but miracles don't happen.
No, exactly. We knew it was going to, the
said,
holiday
guys,
would end, right?
I actually predicted the first quarter of this year, and bam, I'm on the money.
Yeah.
But having said that, we were fortunate enough to have a massive customer base by that time. So when the load shedding stopped, there's obviously maintenance and this type of thing, and we had a good company, a good float, a good bank balance, and we were able to carry ourselves through right through
Well
COVID
done.
as well, for that matter. Sure. And then I said to these guys, you're going to be back. We had been quoting, and people said, but I don't need to go with this quote anymore because there's no more load shedding. I'm not going to waste my money. Well, they've become streaming back now.
I'm sure.
So it's a pleasure.
I put 10 panels on my roof a while ago, and I got 2 batteries. And it's not enough to be off the grid. But I was looking because I've got the app as well, and I mean, this is a very guy thing. I don't know if
No,
you would
it's a girl thing too.
Would
I'm
you do this?
obsessed.
As
A
well?
lot of women love the apps.
Yeah.
So I get on there and I see that my panels are delivering more than the battery and the house need, which is lovely, right? That just means that
You're in a good position.
Eskom zero.
The sun's shining.
In the middle of the day. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, this is perfect. And then some days it doesn't deliver because the cloud cover or whatever else. So
Yeah,
there's
that's
quite a lot of...
very few days it's like that. You know, I mean, I'm not going to quote the days of we have rain and
Sure.
cloud, but it's probably 20 days in the year.
Really?
Where we
That
cannot
little?
produce enough power.
And we've
Even
got a
if-
very sunny country.
Yeah,
right?
even in overcast conditions, you'll be producing, depending on your 10 watts, probably over 1,500 watts, even
Mm.
in a cloudy condition. It has to be really black and rainy before you don't get much out of it. But that's where your batteries then would carry you through.
Yeah.
Now, you know, people say to me, they want to come off grid. Sure, you can do it, but you're going to have to pay.
It's expensive.
The other factor is, do you have the roof space? Because like you just said, you need to have more panels if you're going to have cloudy weather so you can make up for the loss.
Yeah.
So it is a possible. It also comes down to management. I mean, I run my place, my personal domestic home, pretty much off grid. I think I use maybe 500 Rand a month's worth of electricity.
Oh, that sounds like heaven.
Please remember, 500 Rand, I only get 50% of that because it's on prepaid.
Okay.
So you're looking at effectively 60 to 70 units per month that we use, which is nothing.
That's amazing.
Which is now, of course, why our wonderful Eskom is kicking their heels up.
Well, I was thinking about this, and maybe you can help me understand this. So Eskom have screwed up so badly because they are a monopoly. So it should be easy for them to print money, right? But because they can't provide the product that they have a monopoly on, people have been forced to find other solutions.
Right.
Not only that, but they mismanage what little they have. And they're going to push up the price for something that people are going to try and get alternatives for. So eventually they're narrowing their opportunity to make money to such a degree that Eskom is probably the worst managed company in the whole world.
If it was a private company, they would have been liquidated a long time ago.
Absolutely. And
Long time
they
ago.
may have put enough band-aids on a lot of the biggest wounds at Eskom in the last while. I rate some Tetonyati in this new management team a lot more than I did any of the previous ones.
They're trying.
But I mean, this is just the worst job in the world. And I don't feel sorry for them at all because they've brought this upon themselves
No,
at Eskom.
definitely.
They screwed up badly. But now the people who can are doing what you've done at your house, what I've done, what Leigh-Ann's done.
And they're trying to get money out of that too.
Sure.
And also that payback system where you were able to feed.
Well, this is what
power into-
prompted me to get hold of you guys.
Yeah.
I thought I've got to get the public out there to start thinking. Because, and I'm not being derogatory when I say this, people are followers, majority of them.
Well, it's easier. You're so busy with other things.
Of course, life is happening.
You don't want to worry
Yeah.
about your electricity.
Yeah. So when Eskom realized, oh, we're not making any money anymore because we did ask you guys to put in solar, but geez, that was a big bloody mistake. I'm going to have to now try and get money out of you somewhere else. So they've got a couple of options that have come up, and one that has really annoyed me because I'm sitting on two sides of the fence here. I've got it as a consumer and as a supplier.
Yeah.
And an installer. So, you know, what do I advise my customers? Because they're phoning me on a daily basis.
Yeah.
What do I do? Do I register? I said, well, I cannot tell you what to do at the end of the day. I can advise you from what I'm doing from my standpoint. I'm not going to register squat because the moment I do that, they've got me.
Yeah, and then they will start finding other things
This
that
is
they can
like
charge you for.
buying an e-toll.
Yeah.
Like you do.
Like
Yeah,
I did.
exactly.
Or
But then,
buying a TV license.
like I did.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wouldn't do that either. And also, you're not going to make such a fortune out of selling electricity back to them
Very
anyway.
good point. You know, the word out there is they're offering 80 cents a unit. Okay. We are paying now, I don't want to, depending on the area, 4 Rand a unit. So your return on that is 80 cents. Now, in order to resell to the grid, you need to now buy a meter from them, which they should have supplied, by the way.
No,
it's not our baby, but now they're trying to get you as a consumer to buy the thing. And then they're going to pay you 80 cents a unit.
And plus, I don't think you're ever going to get that money.
Do you know, well, that's another point, but how long is it going to take to pay off just your meter? But to get the meter, you have to have registered, which is it's going to be charged for in 2006. Now, at the moment, it's a carrot. I'm doing it for free. You have to have engineers' reports, not
No, and you have
electricity
to let these terrible people from the government onto your
Right.
property. You don't want
Please.
that.
Now, I want to just give you an example here. If you phone Eskom or City Power or any of the providers and say, listen, my DB board is tripping. Can you please come and sort it out? Oh, no, our mandate stops at the pavement.
Yeah, but now they want to be let
But
in.
now they want to be let in. How do these people think? How do they work?
They don't think.
Right.
Okay, so
all about.
So tell me, because a lot of people go, oh, well, maybe it's unnecessary for me to now get solar because we've had a couple of months without load shedding. Or they think it'll get cheaper and cheaper. And it is getting cheaper.
It's bottomed out. Yeah.
But you reckon it's at the bottom now. So it's not going to get a whole lot cheaper than this. So this is a good time to do it.
Especially with our exchange rate, it's not going to get much cheaper.
Yeah, because you still have to get the panels. And,
correct.
Right. Yeah. So, okay, how long do those panels last?
I have got panels that have been up for 16 years.
Huh.
And they are still pumping. I can't measure the difference.
Wow.
Well, I don't see the difference.
Do you have to climb up there and clean them?
Very much so. Very much so.
Yeah.
A lot of customers will phone me in the middle of winter and say, hey, listen, there's something wrong with my system. Of course, we go through, do a call out, and we go up with a hose pipe and a broom, and we clean them. All of a sudden, his dial comes straight back up.
But you don't need to, because there are people who, their whole business is cleaning solar panels.
Yes,
right?
most definitely. Yeah.
And they probably do a much better job than you can with a hose pipe, but you don't need to do that. Just keep them clean.
Sure.
Look after it yourself.
You can look after it yourself.
Just don't fall off the roof.
Have
you ever fallen off the roof?
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
Hurt yourself badly?
Well, I'm still walking, put it that way.
Oh, shit. Wow.
And put it this way, I ran off the roof.
Aye. What were you running from?
Smoke.
Oh, shit. Was there a fire?
Nothing to do with solar, though. But anyway, this is
Okay.
a whole another different story.
Wow.
Yeah. It was actually a transformer that was faulty. It was making smoke.
No, I'm always interested, and I'm glad you gave us a very direct answer on selling power back into the grid, because they'd convinced us this was going to be if you've got a farm and you've got acres and acres of solar array that you can use to farm solar power, then that's fine. But
your
for the
return on
average
investment
person,
is
it's
not
going to be
worth it.
pathetic.
It's not worth it.
But if you're an ordinary person who's living in a house and you have enough roof space to be able to put up a few panels and it'll save you some money, that's good enough.
Sure.
And if you want to have batteries that can help you at night when all the lights go out, as they did to me last week, it's nice to have that.
Of course, we've also come from you're a lot younger than I am, but from a very spoiled background when it came to electricity.
Yeah.
We could leave the lights on, like my wife still does, sorry.
Oh, she's going to be watching.
Leave
this
the lights
angry
still
with
on
you.
and, use it at willy-nilly. But with the cost of it today, and even with the cost of your solar system, plus your batteries being able to supply so much power, you need to be aware of this and just manage your system. And with that management, it's just discipline, self-discipline. You can actually work miracles, and you can practically come off the grid for very, very little.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm, I don't want to walk around like there was this story about some billionaire once, and he was walking around his house like switching off the lights to save power. And I thought, what kind of schnorrer miser thing is this that he won't spend,
That's why he's a
couple of
billionaire.
cents? Probably. But now I find myself like, if I switch off that lamp and I go back on the app, how much does it cut the whole total usage for that hour?
You feel more in control. That's
Yeah,
what it
and I
is.
mean, I've got geysers now that are on a timer that I can switch on and off also from the app. It's good to know these things. I mean, you're managing your house, you're managing your life.
And you're completely right. We've had to learn. I didn't realize that at a late stage in my life, I'd need to know which appliances are drawing the most. And you didn't
It's
care
actually
before.
frightening.
So what are the most energy intensive parts of your
Look,
house?
your geyser is 60 to 70% of your cost.
Wow.
Okay, if not more, depending on the size of your geyser. I mean, you get 2,000 watt elements and 3,000 watt elements. What I do and what we do with our customers is we actually put the geyser on solar, but it kicks in at 10 o'clock in the morning when the sun has become usable. And it'll run right through the day, keeping that water hot. And at about 3:30 to 4:30, it switches that geyser off when the sun is disappearing. Now, a geyser stays hot for a long time. So you can have a shower and do all your things.
Oh,
And
no,
all the rest of it.
mine's on for an hour and a half.
Yeah,
every
usually
day, and
plenty,
it's plenty.
depending on
I
how-
don't have a cold shower in the morning.
No, sure.
It's cool.
Worst case scenario is in the winter, we switch on the geyser for about half an hour at 5:30 to 6 in the morning. So you can have a shower in the morning, because I shower in the morning, so does my wife. So, but that half an hour versus the 2-3 hours a day a geyser would be used, it saves incredible amount of money.
Okay, so geyser. What else?
Your your ovens, of course, we don't put them on, because if you have one hot plate that's 1,000 watts, another hot plate that's another 1,800
So
watts.
your oven and stove is never connected to
Yeah,
solar.
no, look, if you want to go, put it on gas.
Right.
A lot of customers of ours, they've gone with a solar system and they've put in a gas geyser, these gas automatic kicking things, and gas cooking, and they're off grid. They literally don't have to buy or pay for electricity. In fact, the inspectors come and see what have they done, bypass their meter. We had it at our place. So they're going, have you bypassed your meter? No, I just
It's amazing
need your power.
They'll come when you aren't paying for something that they think you should be paying for, but they'll never come to check if there's an electrical fire, for example, or if the whole neighborhood has been without power for 2 weeks. They won't be there for that.
No.
Now, how about this? I just want to read this quickly because this is from Business Tech. They said, power utility Eskom has doubled down on its intentions to come after households with grid-tied rooftop solar in South Africa, saying they have until March 2026 to qualify for exemption from high registration fees. What's that all about? They're trying to...
It's the extortion.
They're trying to get money out of people who are already trying to get out of the system.
Correct. And this is why I'm sitting here today, because I am livid.
Yeah, me too. This pisses me off.
It annoys me. And then
Go on.
it doesn't only stop there. They want to put your base tariff up. So even if you're not using them, you're going to still pay. Now, where in the world do you pay for something you don't use or get
so
or
just
ask
disconnect
for?
them.
They won't. That's another thing. They're not going to disconnect you. You're going to have to pay for that facility at your pavement forever, whether you like it or not. To
Even
me,
if you're not
that's
using them.
criminal.
It is criminal.
It's criminal. You know, I've got a couple of customers at Parkhurst here. They've actually got it right to have their cable dug up, taken out, and their meter's not there. Completely 100% of grid.
But it's been a process, right?
It's been a hell of a process, yeah. But they want to stop this now. The powers that be. And I just have a very big problem with paying for something
you don't
I
get
don't
any
want,
value for,
or I get nothing for.
Are there people who are able to completely exist outside of all of this with just solar? Maybe they've got a borehole too. They
Very
don't
much
have anything. They don't have. This is in
Very much
suburbia,
so.
right? We're not talking about people on.
No, this is suburbia.
Farms.
Suburbia,
Yeah.
Parkhurst. We just finished a guy, and we put up a wind turbine for him, and he's got water pumps and a borehole, and that's all runs off the solar system.
Amazing.
He's pretty much autonomous, completely.
Yeah, and what did you just do to your microphone?
The microphone just dropped into my lap.
Wow, very
With
exciting.
With quite a bit of force, I must say.
So, all right, you've got options in solar.
Yeah.
What are the new developments there? Because we know that these batteries also don't last forever. You're probably going to have to replace those, every 10 years or so.
Well, you know, you get a 10-year warranty.
Okay, but that doesn't mean it stops working.
It doesn't mean it
after 10
stops
years.
working. It'll still carry on going.
Yeah.
As I said, I've got batteries that I put in. So lithium batteries are the new kid on the block. When I say new, in the last 5 years, they've been safe and affordable.
Yeah.
Before that was the gel batteries, which would last, especially those shedding 6 months, and they're finished.
Okay.
But lithium, if you cycle them properly, it's a bit like a muscle. You need to exercise it. So if you cycle it properly, don't discharge it too far, don't overcharge it, you will have a long life out of those batteries. The systems that we use are very, very high end. They're not the cheap stuff. They're very well manufactured, and they do their job very well and reliable. The fact that the batteries are very often not used by customers, it's because the setup is wrong.
Okay.
You need to use your battery, otherwise it gets stiff.
Yeah,
and
It's like a cell phone.
Like a cell phone, yeah. The system won't allow it to discharge. The battery itself has got something called a BMS, battery management system. Will not allow you to discharge below 20% left or 80% discharge. It will not allow you to overcharge it. I've got photographs I can show you, but I'm not going to do it now. The batteries from early, the lithium batteries, they used to burst into flame.
Yeah, well, lithium is a very reactive metal.
Very much so, yeah. So we didn't go in the lithium route until I was very convinced and very sure that they were safe. When I say safe, I put it in inverted commas.
Sure.
Compared to what the early ones were.
And obviously there are new developments and there are all kinds of technological advancements that are being made all the time. Where do you see solar going in the next 5 to 10 years? Obviously, it's your business, so you're thinking about this way more than ordinary old us.
Look, solar in the business curve is peaked. Okay. So it's now going to become a commodity. It's not that specialized. We made lots of money in the first climb of the curve. But I think the next best thing will be the more efficiency of the panels themselves. You know, up until now, we used to have a battery, a solar panel that would give you X amount of watts. If you wanted more power, the panel got bigger. The best part is that it got bigger and you got more power, but the prices stayed the same.
Okay.
So that's where the idea of it's becoming cheaper. You're actually getting more for the same, if I can put it that way.
Yeah.
So the panels are becoming bigger. They're becoming more efficient, but they're still hovering. The best ones are still hovering at about 24%. The moment they can make a breakthrough where they can get 100% conversion rate from your sun to your electricity,
yes,
then you'll be talking. But they're not there yet.
Okay.
Battery-wise, I think the next best thing will be the nuclear battery.
Wow.
Okay, now that's a whole different technical ballgame, but that will give you a 50-year life. It's literally a nuclear. Now, it's not a nuclear reactor like you would put in a Cuba. It's the radiation from the nuclear piece that's in there, like these fire detections.
Sure. It's got a small piece
in there.
Yeah. Like in a pebble bed modular reactor, for
correct,
example. Pebble.
So they would start using that. It then makes it smaller because you're not having to store anything. It's just constantly pumping power. So this is where things are going. But of course, these things at the moment are new. They're damned expensive. They're not available on the market yet, per se. Yeah.
Damn it. As soon as they become available, you let me know. I wouldn't mind having
Inverters these days they've got matric. They've in fact got master's degrees too. They're pretty autonomous. They look after themselves. They are stupid proof.
Yeah.
Like you say, you like to see on your app, because that's all you really have to do. Say, I'm saving this much and I'm doing this much and I've produced this much.
Better turn off the tumble dryer now.
Yeah. And if you know that there's load shedding coming, you make sure you don't use that much power leading up to it, especially if it's at night.
Well, that's what I was talking earlier. It's a mind shift of usage. You know, you get home and, you've worked late at night. You put the tumble dryer on after the wash because you need dry clothes for tomorrow morning. You can't do that on a solar system. You have to use grid. So there is limitations. But if you can get the housekeeper to do all that heavy duty stuff in the day when the sun's shining, you're saving money.
Bitcoin Bot says, when Eskom comes to inspect my house for solar, I'll tell them, sorry, the system is down. Come back tomorrow.
I've gone on tea break.
There was a statement made by them, even if you're off grid. Now, that is arrogant. Even if you're not connected to their electrical supply, you have to comply.
No.
Sorry for you.
But,
not going to happen.
You know, you could also say to them, you can wait here at the front door. I'm just going to get my gun and see how that works out. I mean, if they really are brave and they want to stay, then you can decide whether or not you'd actually like to take the gun out. But this is the kind of brinkmanship that you can do in South Africa.
Yeah, I've got a lot of associates, other installers. So we've got a group of the high echelon installer, preferred installers. We are part of the master installer group. The guy, his primary site is Rustenburg.
Okay.
And we were chatting the other day, and 5 of his customers have been approached by the municipality. Now, we must remember this whole thing's been driven by Eskom with Eskom connected customers. The municipalities haven't kicked in yet.
Yeah.
They're usually about 25 or 30 years behind. I'm being facetious, but anyway. The guys there by the municipality, they've been literally blackmailed. Is that a lesser word than extortion?
That's right. No, blackmail.
They have cut off the electrical supply because they have and refused to register.
Wow.
It's gonna happen.
That's
criminal.
Criminal.
Mm-hmm.
When I heard that, I thought, and when I've heard this whole thing, I found Outer.
Yes, tell me.
Right. Now, Outer is a great place. I was involved with these bridge people standing on the bridge opposing e-tolls.
Zuma must go.
Banner, all this sort of stuff.
We played the clip this morning, but Wayne Duvenach and those guys, right? So, okay, tell us about what you did with Outer.
I phoned the guys and I said to them, listen, are you aware of all this, and who would I speak to, and how do we engage, and how do we take this on? I said, because there's going to be a class action suit coming. Now, class action, you just have to wait for the numbers. And the class action kicks in. We've got attorneys that are ready and waiting in the wings for this. So the moment you start getting fined, and I'm trying to get this information out to our customers.
All right, so listen up.
Listen up, customers. The moment you are either threatened or fined, get hold of Outer and lay your story down. Because when the numbers climb, they are going to take it on. And that was from them.
Okay.
I'm not going to give names.
And then who would this be against? Eskom?
It'll be depending on who's threatening
or the
him.
municipality.
It depends on who's threatening him.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. It's whether it's
So
municipality or
wherever more fuckery comes from, we'll go after them first. Okay.
So the way ARTSA took on the e-tolls, if you're going to get taken to court, and all we ask is, listen, and I'm not an outer punter here, but please, if you want to benefit from them, contribute to them.
Yeah, of course. No, make it
They're
a
not a
donation. They do
freebie
good
type
work.
of situation. So just bear that in mind. So I've got great hope that this will happen. It's not going to take a while. I mean, how long did it take for e-tolls to fall? It took a long time.
Yeah.
But it did. It happened. So
10 years.
This is what we're hoping, because this is just blatant extortion. What the next thing, if they get there, where Eskom's going to start asking you to register your microwave oven?
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
And where does
where's
it
your
stop?
license for your microwave?
Where does it stop?
Go to hell. Yeah, no. It stops when we say no more.
Correct.
And we're getting to that. We're rapidly
Very
getting to
quickly,
that point now. I like the fact that 2 weeks ago, the Minister of Finance couldn't table his budget because he was going to impose a 2% VAT increase. And people were like, nope.
Excuse me?
You do this, we'll burn down the house like that mental patient.
We'll bring out the psychiatric patient.
Yeah, it was probably
there we go.
driven to that, you see.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so I love the work that you're doing. I think it's just so great that we have other options. We need to have other options. People often want to know how much it costs to do this stuff. I think mine was like 170,000 Rand for the 10 panels and 2 batteries.
And you can rent.
You can rent.
That brings up another story. You're renting the system. That's not yours.
Yeah.
Who's Eskom or the municipality going to find?
Yes.
That's a good point.
There's another loophole.
They're
for
not
them,
thinking
maybe.
this through, you see.
Yeah, well,
they are just money grabbing because they're desperate.
Knowing them, they'll try to get from both.
Yes.
Probably.
Exactly.
Because they don't understand where money comes from. So they think it's made by magic. So they'll try to get from both.
It's a circus, eh?
It really is. It's unbelievable. All right. Well, would you advise that it's a good idea for people to get as much as they can and get off grid completely? Or do you think it's sufficient that you just have a system that you can manage when there's load shedding? And, power failures are inevitable in all parts of the world.
It's a double-edged sword, Gareth. You've got to decide for you as a customer or a consumer what it is you want to achieve. Do I want to always have electricity? Which means you can then go with a simple, cheaper version or a smaller kilowatt unit.
Yeah.
Or do you actually want to save electricity costs? In other words, benefit from both.
Right.
So obviously the one is going to be a lot more expensive than the other, but that's your choice. And it's also a financial situation at the lower house. We deal with a lot of very high-end customers, and a lot of them actually say, well, I don't care about the price of electricity. They've got so much money they don't really give a damn. But when you talk to them about being frugal and you actually engage and involve them in this whole thing, they start to realize, just out of the, excuse the word, fuck it, I'm going to screw them.
Yeah.
I'm going to not pay them their money. I'm not going to give them money.
Yeah.
So that's where a lot of people
it's a stealth tax. That's what it is. Because it all goes to the same people who've mismanaged our economy for the last 30 years. So why should we reward them?
Well, we're being punished.
Yeah, we're being punished for their
incompetence.
Yeah,
correct.
Spot on, and there's no reason for us to put up with that. All right, listen, I love it. Thank you for coming in. I've been meaning to talk about this for the longest time, and it's good to have someone who actually knows what they're talking about here. And we will see you on Wednesday at 6 a.m. bright and early, whether there's electricity or not, because we got solar. Cheers, everybody.
Thank you, guys.